Hello everyone, this is Leah Whitehorse from Leah Astrology, and today I'm going to be talking about the transit of the North Node through Leo and the South Node through Aquarius. So the North Node is going to move into Leo and the South Node into Aquarius on the 9th of May 2017, and they will be in those signs until the 6th of November 2018. To start with, I wanted to talk about what the node is, just very simply. The node marks the crossing point between the path of the moon and the path of the sun. Now, these nodes also play an important part in the eclipses. We're going to be moving into a season of eclipses which are going to take place across the signs of Leo and Aquarius, because if we get a full or a new moon that happens close enough to the node, then that is when we get an eclipse occurring. Just so you know, there are two different ways of calculating the position of the nodes. So you may have seen that the North Node has already moved into Leo, and that would be because someone is using what is called the mean node position. And basically all that means is that the mean node is where the calculation of where the North Node is has been kind of averaged out, and that figure is then given as the mean node, whereas the true node is more precise. We still don't know exactly where the North Node is because the path of the moon kind of wobbles, but it's a little bit more precise than the mean node, so I prefer using the true node. So the next thing to talk about is, why are the nodes important? Now for me, they are crucial, they are critical in my astrological work. The nodes represent the path of our spiritual evolution. In the birth chart, the position of the North Node shows what you are trying to reach for, what you need to develop, what you need to challenge yourself with in order to facilitate your soul's growth. It represents something of the spiritual contract that you have made before you come into this incarnation, down to the earth school. You've already made some decisions before you come here about what you need to do in order to develop your soul's growth. So the North Node represents all of these kind of challenges and lessons and trials that you're moving towards. The South Node shows what you've already done. This is the past, you've already got this. It can also be the area which shows where you get a bit stuck. It's your comfort zone, and that's the area that we kind of need to get away from. Now, with the nodes, sometimes you may see them described as the dragon's head, so that's the North Node, and the dragon's tail, and that's the South Node. The dragon's head, I think this is a really interesting analogy because it's kind of where we need to get fed, where we need to eat, where we need to consume, where we need to taste and savour the qualities of the sign that that North Node is in. With the South Node, if we continue with the analogy, kind of what goes in must come out. So the South Node is connected to the waste, or where we need to eliminate material that is no longer kind of useful to us. But also if we think about waste as fertilising, then we've got the idea that the best qualities of the South Node can then be put to the use of the North Node. It's about using the best of the South Node and putting it to the service of the North Node, rather than just completely eliminating the qualities of that sign and saying they're no good for us. So when the North Node moves into a different sign collectively for all of us, we are being asked to change our direction as far as our spiritual growth is concerned. Now for the last 18 months, the North Node has been in Virgo and the South Node has been in Pisces. So the themes that have been playing out over this period of time have been connected to the idea of self-improvement, with Virgo being the North Node. So we've been asked to improve in practical ways. We've been asked to practice what we preach. That the opposite sign, Pisces, is about spirituality, but Virgo is about putting it into practice. So practicing what we preach, improving our health, improving our lives, improving our routines, making sure that everything is in place, analysing but not getting into analysis paralysis. So that's the kind of shadow side of Virgo. We have been asked to let go of where we have had victim consciousness, where we're kind of inclined to escape rather than do something about the problem. So these are some of the themes that have been going on with the North Node in Virgo and then the South Node in Pisces. So now that the North Node is moving into Leo, we're getting a cosmic sign, a cosmic signpost that we need to start developing and savouring and tasting these qualities of the sign Leo. And Leo is the child of the zodiac. Leo is the heart. Leo is the artist. Leo is where we want to be seen, where we want to be recognised, where we want to be seen as special, where we need attention. So if you look to where Leo is in your chart, the house with Leo on the cusp is an area of life where you need to kind of see that through the eyes of an artist, through the eyes of a child. You need to be able to develop those qualities of confidence and risk-taking and kind of taking a gamble. You know, this is something that we're all going to be collectively asked to do in different areas of our lives according to our natal charts, but collectively we are being asked to see the specialness not only in ourselves but within each other, to treat everybody as if they are a king or a queen, you know, to recognise our own inner sovereignty. It's also about seeing life sort of through the eyes of a child, you know, being able to totally appreciate life in the moment, which is exactly what a child does. Perhaps it's also about focusing on the next generation. Maybe children and creativity and play will become a particular topic during this period of time when the North Node is moving through Leo. It's a very important time for us all to be thinking about what we are leaving for the next generation. Now, whilst the North Node is going through Leo, bearing in mind that this sign is connected to the sort of artistic industries and also the entertainment industry, then it's quite possible that that area of life maybe become even more popular, or we're talking about that aspect of life a lot. We're sort of maybe seeing the difference between the celebrities that are paraded through our media and the difference between their lives and our lives, you know, the ordinary life, and yet we are all stars, we are all stars. So whilst the North Node is in Leo, it's a time for each of us to really start to embrace what is going on in our hearts and to have the courage and the confidence to say, I want to be this, or I want to do this, I want to express myself. All of us need to engage with our creativity. That's very important. Now, creativity can be expressed in many different ways. It doesn't mean that you have to put paint to paper. It could be in the way that you think, you know, it could be in the way that you speak, the way that you connect with other people, the thoughts that you have, the ideas that you have. Creativity is something that is integral to each of us and to all of us, but not all of us really think about our creativity, and some of us really feel like we're not creative because that's what we were told, especially if we weren't very good at art, for example, or we weren't very good at drama, and we kind of get a bit scared of getting up on stage and doing something and giving a presentation. All of us are needing to build up our confidence and forget what we were told by the world out there and start to really listen to what our heart is telling us and to express what our heart is telling us. Now the South Node moving into Aquarius means that we are needing to get away from the negative, more shadow elements of the sign Aquarius and embrace the more precious, positive aspects of Aquarius, to put those to use to the service of the North Node in Leo. So the qualities of Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign, so it's very intellectual, and it is associated with groups and society and networks and politics and systems of kind of connection. And it's funny because just as this transit is starting to come into play, I actually noticed on Facebook quite a few times people were asking for recommendations or asking for help about something or other, and they referred to the hive mind. And I'd never seen this on Facebook before or in any other kind of social media platform. And I really noted it because the hive mind makes me think of Aquarius, you know, everyone working together for the sort of an ultimate aim. Of course, that's a really good thing when a group pulls together and has a common objective and they can achieve that together. That's wonderful. The dark side of Aquarius is when we start to put aside our own uniqueness and our own specialness, put aside our creativity because we think that we are going to be rejected or on the fringes of society, and that other people won't like us and other people won't applaud us. Or maybe we twist what we really want to do to be something that's more acceptable to the group so that they will applaud us. So we're giving them what they want rather than focusing on what we want. So that's also another side of the Aquarius story. It's also a very detached sign as well, whereas Leo is the sign which is all about the heart. So we're moving away from Aquarius South Node, we're moving away from being more detached and allowing ourselves to get involved, you know, to put our hearts truly into what we believe is important to us. It's about sort of stepping away from this idea of just kind of intellectualizing and actually getting, allowing ourselves to get heated and passionate about what is important to us. As the North Node and South Node move around your chart, the North Node is pointing to different areas of your life as it moves through the houses, and also it's pointing to different aspects of your psyche as it connects with the planets and also some of the important angles in your chart. And so the North Node is constantly sort of drawing you to explore those parts of your psyche and parts of your life and to develop those areas, because for that current period where that transit is occurring, that is what is necessary for your soul's growth. For those of you who have your natal nodes in Leo or Aquarius, then you're coming up to either your nodal return, so that would be the North Node in Leo, or your reverse return if you have your North Node in Aquarius. For those of you who have your North or South Nodes in Taurus or Scorpio, then you're coming up to the kind of crossing point where the nodes will be square to the nodes in your natal chart. If you want more information about this, I have got an article on my website which I wrote some time ago, giving you some personal examples of what I experienced at nodal returns, reverse returns, and also the kind of cross quarter times where the nodes are square to the nodes. And I will leave the link below so that you can have a look at that to get some idea of how this particular transit may manifest. one of the themes that I think is really important of this North Node going into Leo is about getting in touch with our inner child. So on a collective level, we are looking at each person's specialness, and on an individual level we're also doing that, but it's about connecting with our inner child, the inner child that perceives the world in a very different way than our adult self. A lot of the time our inner child gets left behind because we're busy adulting, we're busy getting on with life, we're dealing with our own children, we're dealing with our jobs, we're dealing with our homes and all the rest of it. But our inner child is still there, and our inner child is often informing us on how we perceive things that are occurring in our lives, and how we react and how we respond. How we respond on a very sort of gut instinct basis is connected to our inner child. And so the North Node moving through Leo is calling us to connect with our inner child again. How can we get in touch with that playful side of us that doesn't take life quite so seriously? That's one of the things perhaps we may see during this North Node transit, that life is a little bit less serious than it was whilst it was moving through Virgo, because Virgo, wonderful, humble, gentle sign that it is, can sometimes get very caught up in everything needs to be right, everything needs to be precise, everything needs to be perfect, and we can get very lost in all of that. Pisces is the opposite sign, that's the sense of loss. So if we move to Leo, Leo kind of doesn't really care, because Leo improvises. Leo doesn't mind if things go a little bit wrong, a little bit pear-shaped. Is happy to improvise. And that's what we need to be able to do, to be able to improvise, to be able to trust that we can carry ourselves forward. Some of the themes that may come up whilst the North Node is moving through Leo, for example, we may see more studies or more information about how play is fundamental to child development. We may also see studies and more information about how play is very important for us adults as well. Maybe we will see something about cutting down the working week, the hours worked. So I know there's been some studies done on this already, but how basically the society, the Aquarius society, may function better if we have more collective playtime with the North Node moving through Leo. Because Leo is associated with the entertainment industry, particularly with acting and the stage and so on, we may see more information about this coming up for discussion. Maybe we're talking about celebrities a lot, or we're talking about the concept of celebrity and what makes a celebrity and why do we call these people stars. I know there's certainly some people that I adore and I love, and I would see them in any film, but then there is also some people that seem to be famous for being famous, and what's that about? So we may see a lot more about that. I was wondering whether we may also see a little bit less of reality TV, because we kind of want the drama. We want something that is creative with the North Node being in Leo. We do want to be told a story. We do want it to be larger than life, and we don't necessarily want it to have that real nitty-gritty side to it that perhaps the North Node moving through Virgo had. So I wondered whether we may sort of get a little bit more dramas and less sort of reality TV. We can only hope. Now, the next thing we could also see perhaps with Leo is that we're looking more at arts, generally speaking. Perhaps there may be more funding for the arts. Perhaps there may be more campaigning for the arts. Groups of people, this is Aquarius, coming together to make sure that the arts are properly represented in our schools and in society as a whole, because of course the arts have been sort of compromised somewhat over the years. So that's another thing we may see. We may see more galleries coming into the sort of public arena. We may see more galleries opening, which is what I was trying to get to. On an individual level, getting in touch with this North Node in Leo is about really looking at where you can express yourself more. How can you be more creative in your life? What is it that you have not done because you were worried about what other people would think? What is it you have not done because you were too scared to, that you were too scared to sort of play your part? This is something with Leo that every one of us, you know, if we think of the world as a stage, then we all have a part to play. And rather than it being something that we're acting, you know, rather than it being something that is false, it's actually about being real, about being utterly true to ourselves. And by being completely true to ourselves and following our heart, then we are playing our part, our role in this grand, great play that is occurring on planet Earth. We've got to be connected to our greatest heart's desire to be brave and put ourselves out there so that we can be part of this wonderful evolution of the planet as a whole. Now, if you know your chart and can identify where the nodes are moving and which houses they are in, then you can be thinking about questions such as, how can I be braver in this area of my life? How can I be more confident? How can I express myself more? How can I be more playful? Where can I perhaps take a few more risks to get things moving in this part of my life? Where can I be more spiritual, more motivated, more kind of willing to get up and go and give it a try, even if I might fall? With the South Nodes movement in your chart, then that shows the area of life where you need to be asking questions like, where have I held myself back because I want to fit in with what everyone else is doing? Maybe this is a part of life where you've always felt a little bit isolated, that you've always felt a bit too detached from. Maybe this is a part of life where you are quite innovative, but you've been scared of showing off your creation. So that's bouncing you over to the North Node in Leo. So these are some of the things to look at, because the South Node shows what you are letting go of. You're letting go of the group mind, of the hive mind, so that you can be your own true self and follow that heart's calling. The sign Leo is ruled by the sun. And in the astrological chart, the sun stands for our identity and our purpose. It shows where we shine. So during this transit of the North Node going through Leo, we are all asked to shine. We are all allowed to shine. So let yourself shine. Let yourself do those things that are calling you at a heart level. Don't be afraid of being you. That is exactly who you need to be.